Good day and welcome to the Circle of Unity, a series of programs that feature Native American Baha'is sharing their views on the Baha'i faith. We'll find out what attracted these Indian people to the Baha'i faith and why this faith is important to them. And together we'll explore some important relationships between what it means to be a Native American and what it means to be a Baha'i. Today I'm in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, visiting with Charlene Winger-Bearskin, a Seneca Cayuga Indian of Oklahoma, and Mike Bigler, a Yuchi. Let's listen in now as Charlene explains how she became a Baha'i.
I first heard about the Baha'i faith at a women's consciousness raising group back in the early 70s. A woman who attended the class invited me to come to a Baha'i study class that she was attending. And I was very attracted to her and very attracted to the things that she liked to talk about, which was God and how women can serve God. And so I went. And the people there at that meeting impressed me very deeply because I knew that what they were telling me, they believed was absolutely the truth. And they were sweet and kind and very pure-hearted people. And I listened to everything that they said, and they loaded me up with some books to read, all of which had to do with Native Americans and the Baha'i faith. And I took them home, and I stayed up all night. I couldn't sleep, and I read all these books. And I decided for my father's sake, I would not completely just jump in right away and become a Baha'i. I knew that if I told my father after one meeting of attending a Baha'i meeting that I would become a Baha'i, that would upset him very much. So I decided to study and wait until I could present my beliefs to my father in a way that he would accept. And so I studied the faith for about a month, 2 weeks, actually. About 2 weeks, and I just couldn't stand it anymore. I had to become a Baha'i. And I asked the people, the first meeting I went to, I was visiting these people, and I went to their home. And I started telling this gentleman that I felt that I was a Baha'i, and I was telling all my friends that I was a Baha'i and trying to teach them a little bit about the Baha'i faith. And I was very happy for about one moment because I had found what I was always looking for. I had found the thing I was searching for. And I was very happy for a moment. Then after that, I felt the weight of the responsibility. It's one thing to believe something, and it's another thing to live it. And so I knew that I had to live the Baha'i faith. And my happiness changed a little bit to respect and feeling that a new sense of dignity had to be part of my life. And that I was a Baha'i now. And my life has been changed.
I was around a large Baha'i group when I was in high school. From the time I was in high school on, there was a large group of Baha'is near me, and I knew many of them and learned about the faith to some extent. And in fact, I married a Baha'i. My wife was a Baha'i when we married, and I had spent about at least a year, maybe a year and a half to 2 years of trying to find religion up to the time that I became a Baha'i. My father was a minister and had brought us up in a very devout household. And it was not just organized religion that he taught us, but it was faith and it was devotion. And I had rejected the church when I was about 15 because I felt that these things were lacking, that religion was lacking from the church. And I had been earnestly praying and seeking religion for a time, as I have said. And my wife kind of twisted my arm one weekend and took me to a Baha'i conference. And I was antagonistic towards the conference and towards the people there, and was not really wanting to be there that weekend. And she took me into one of the meetings that night where a man was speaking. And during the course of his talk, which it probably was no more than 45 minutes, I was turned around religiously. I felt that there was in a moment's time that I was suddenly, I don't know how you'd call it, I really don't know how to describe it. It was as though it was perhaps a waking vision, that I had asked God for an answer, and all of a sudden He gave it to me, and it was almost more than I could bear. I felt that I could all of a sudden see the logical answers to all of the questions that I had had, the logical conclusions to all the reasons that I had done. And all of this train of thought and thinking flashed in my mind in a single moment, and I could see all these answers in a single moment, and I felt that I had to become a Baha'i right at that moment, or that I would dissolve. Just something dissolve or explode, and it was more than I could bear at that time. And so I became a Baha'i that night.
As a teenager, I began studying about my tribe. I'm a Seneca Cayuga from right here in Oklahoma, although we are originally from New York State. And I started studying about my tribe when I was in high school. I didn't really know much about it. And I wanted to, this was all part of a search for my own kind of personal religion as well. And I knew I could find things there if I went through my heritage. In studying that, I became proud of being an Indian and very aware of a lot of information that I had no idea that my people did and had accomplished and whatnot, and I became very proud of that. In studying about the religion of my people, I found that it confirmed my belief that there's only one God, and that the Buddhist and the Hindu and the Jew and the Christian and the Muslim all believe in the same God. All those teachings really come from one central source. And the native teachings say that, and they talk about a universal brotherhood, and they talk about races will come together. The beautiful stories of my people tell about a day will come when the white man, the red man, the black man will come together and truly be brothers. I knew that this was possible, that it could happen someday, but not through things that we could do. I knew it had to come from a greater power. There was a prophet sent to the Iroquois people. The Iroquois people call him a prophet. He was a great teacher. And his name was Daganawida. The teachings that he gave were of the unity of mankind. And he foretold a time when the Indian people would become unified, would be able to share their, I don't know what to say, but the ways that they have held on to deep inside of them, not the outward things, but the way somehow, whatever we retain that makes us Indian, wherever we live, whatever we do for a living, all the different ways that we are and spread out all over the country. And maybe we don't attend our native doings, our ceremonies or whatever, but we're still Indian. Nobody can ever take that away from us, and no Indian person can ever give it up. You can't even give it up if you want to. You're always going to... But that something inside of you, there would come a time when that would flourish and be given as a gift, like a flower, to the white man. and that there would be a brotherhood that would exist at that time, and that there would be respect between the two, that the white man would finally realize that the Indian people were essentially, that the white and the Indian were the same, they were equal, and that the white man could learn from the Indian, just as he could learn from any other people. And I knew that that was true, and I found that in the Baha'i teachings. I was amazed. So I thought, I'll never find a religion that encompasses all of these beliefs, that has the old and the new. And I found it. And I found it again and again in the Baha'i prayers. And every time I read a Baha'i prayer, it makes me think of the grandmother that I don't even know, the great-grandfather that I don't even know. Because those prayers talk constantly about nature, about we are the flowers of the rose garden. We shall be as a drop turned into a sea. We shall be a gnat turned to an eagle. So many references to nature. And I just know that that is a way, the right way. It's the right way. It touches man's heart as well as his mind. And I found my heart being totally captured by the Baha'i teachings and enriched.
When I became a Baha'i and started studying what the writings had to say about any person becoming their true self, that I started understanding more of what it was to be an Indian, and I started understanding more of the value of the Indian culture. There are places in the writings that say that a man must study himself to know what will lead to abasement and what will lead to glory. This is true for any people, for any individual, and it is also true for a race or for a culture. That people, as a member of the culture, you have to know what it is that is the most valuable part of your culture, and what it is that is merely the enjoyable part of your culture, and even what are the negative parts of your culture. And I felt told what I'm supposed to value as being an Indian prior to this time, that people had expectations of me, that I was supposed to conform to some set of rules in order to be an Indian. The Baha'i faith helped me to see that these were not the important things. The important things were all the things that were in here. They were the love that you feel for other people, they were the unity that you feel for all of mankind. These are things that the Indians had always had in their early days. The things that the Europeans had noted in their contact with them in the 1600s and 1700s were their unity, the wisdom which they showed. And these are things that rise out of studying yourself. They're not things that come from following certain ceremonies or from wearing beadwork. While you may get enjoyment out of those things, and they are tied to the past, they are not the things that give you value as an individual. The Baha'i faith showed me that, it was the inside stuff. Then another thing about it was the promises which the Baha'i faith made. I found that there were promises, the Baha'i faith made promises for every people. It was not just that one group of people was going to become supreme over everyone. It was that every group, every culture would rise up and would have a unique gift that they would bring to the world. And the Baha'i faith has a promise for the Indians. In fact, one of the things that they say is that Abdul-Baha said that the American Indian would be a means of bringing light to all of the world. And I think that this bringing light to all of the world, if the American Indian is going to do it, that he has to go, or she has to go, to the inner part of his culture, to the respect for the elders, to respect for all of nature, to respect for other cultures, to respect for other races. and find that strength within there and bring forth this peacefulness and this wisdom and this acceptance and this unity to all the world.
I attended a Native American Indigenous Council in Wilmette, Illinois, at the Baha'i House of Worship. And this gathering of people, there were more than 50 different tribes represented. And I saw something there that I didn't think I'd ever see in my lifetime. And that was unity of the tribes. It's prophesied in every religion, that this, in every native religion, that this will happen. Someday the tribes will be one. And I saw it there. I saw the pettiness of who's the best in sports and who's the biggest and the best all disappear. And what was 50 tribes, and seemingly all different, all came together and melded into one tribe, Baha'i. And I realized that, of course, this is what's going to bring us together. One faith that respects all, includes all. And I was very proud to be there and to be a witness to that.
I think that this is one of the things that is very important in understanding how it is that the Indians will become something great in the world, is this unity, and how it is that the unity is going to have to come from somewhere other than from the political means, or from the various things that have been advanced so far that have never worked.
That's exactly right, because it has to be the most common link, the common thing that will pull us together. Because that is something that we can all agree upon, our spiritual way. That is something.
I think the times that the Indians have drawn close to unity has always been through religion rather than through conquest or political means. The various rebellions, as they are termed in historical terms, the greatest upsurgence of the American Indian tribes have been when it's united behind a religious leader. And yet, all of those times, they again fell back down. Well, normally they were leading towards war. Mm-hmm. And this is not the way of conquest in this day. It's not the way of unity in this day. It's going to have to be through, if I could have the book. In the Baha'i writings, Abdul-Baha says, likewise, should these Indians and Aborigines be educated and obtain guidance, there is no doubt that through the divine teachings, they will become so enlightened as in turn to shed light to all regions. And when Abdul-Baha speaks of education, I think it is very important to remember that education is not necessarily what you receive in school or what your parents teach you. But as Baha'u'llah says, that learning, the essence of all learning, is knowledge of God. It has to come through knowledge of God. And the Baha'i faith teaches us that knowledge of God can be received only through the divine manifestation. That God is so far above us that we can never meet him personally. We can never understand him without, well, at times they said that we would be, that he is too overpowering for us. And the manifestation is the means of reaching this. And our education as mankind, as the Indian culture, as individuals, has to come through knowledge of God. And this has to come through the manifestation. And when you see 50 tribes that are united, that is one of the most remarkable things that I think has ever happened in the Indian history.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, Baha'u'llah and his teachings have become important parts in Mike and Charlene's lives. They firmly believe that their future and the future of all Native Americans lie in the pathway that leads to that great circle of unity.